Melissa Reiner here with Episode Insights from The Good Doctor. This is Season 2, Episode 1. Hello. And in the middle of the episode, Claire asks Sean to tell Jared hello from her. And then when he runs into Jared, he says hello, but does not explain that that is from Claire. And I find that hysterical and wonderful. And I just think it's so interesting that the whole episode, up until that point, Jared has been gently and then finally firmly trying to encourage Sean to be with Glassman. And only when he sort of rationalizes the fact that he can finish reading his chapter and be with Glassman does he go. And in being there with Glassman, does he solve the problem with Harry, the patient. And I just find that whole thing amazing. And I love this episode. Hello. I'm singing Adele poorly. You'll have to forgive me for that, please. I hope. Melissa Reiner here with Episode Insights from The Good Doctor, Season 2, Episode 2, Middle Ground. If anyone knows me like I think you know me, you know that my stance on asking questions and giving commands is that it often elicits an anxiety response from the recipient of the interaction. And so when Leah surprises Sean at the hospital and it doesn't go well and he leaves, Claire goes after Sean and asks questions. She says, what's wrong? What did she do? And Sean is non-responsive. And only once she adjusts the questioning so that instead she's using a statement, and what I call I statements, she says, you don't want to talk to Leah. And then she says the I statement, I don't understand. And only then is he able to access his truth, his innermost truth, to say, I don't understand. How can I know what I'm feeling, right? I don't know what I'm feeling. And that has given him the space, the lack of questioning has given him the space to introspect successfly. Melissa Reiner here with Episode Insights from The Good Doctor. This is Season 2. This is Episode 3, 36 hours. And in the middle of Sean's 36-hour shift, we find him waiting for Claire. He's left the OR, and she's talking to Sean and reminding him about how, Leah's been a really good friend to him. And originally the writers had written that Sean says that when he's thinking about Leah, it makes him anxious. And I was really struggling with the use of the word anxious in the midst of this 36-hour shift and in the midst of this, ostensible crisis between him and Leah and their interpersonal relationship. I didn't feel he'd have that sort of level of introspection at that time, given these circumstances. And instead, the writers changed it so that he says, I don't want to listen because it's too hard. And I thought that was so honest. Melissa Reiner here with Episode Insights from The Good Doctor, Season 2, Episode 4, entitled Tough Titmouse, which is a funny name. So in the scene where Parks suggests to their patient's mother, maybe he should go into a residential facility, and Melendez says, well, that would be devastating for him, quite possibly. And Sean, it seems, is agreeing with Melendez and says, yes, it would. It would be devastating is sort of what it seems like he's going to say. And then he stops and pauses and continues the sentence by saying, and then he'd get used to it. So many parents have to make very tough decisions. And it's never easy to decide to have a child go into a residential facility, but it does not mean you're giving up on your child ever. It just means it may be the best solution for the family, for an individual, for that child, for that parent. And there should never be judgment and only understanding. Melissa Reiner here with Episode Insights from The Good Doctor. This is Season 2. This is Episode 5, entitled Carrots. And there's a scene where Sean's patient doesn't want his partner and husband to know that he's had gastric bypass surgery before. And originally the writers had written that Sean would ask, the character's name is Wade, why would that matter to him? And I had a problem with that because I didn't think that Sean would frankly care why that would matter to him. But instead, I said, do you think you could just have him say, your husband must be very shallow? And lo and behold, my friends, that is what the writers did. And that is what Sean ended up saying in this episode.